So, it's time for a new Woodwinds lesson. As you can see down here, we are starting off with the flute, the alto saxophone, and the B-flat clarinet, just like last time. But if you stick around till the end of the video, we're gonna check out a new instrument, a tenor saxophone. Ooh, it's much bigger and makes a different sound, but we'll check that out. We're gonna start with some review, just in case you forgot. So, here is our amazing flute. Now, if you have a flute at home, you probably notice that this flute has holes right on the finger pads. You're wondering, why are those holes there? So more expensive flutes, more advanced flutes, they ask that you cover the tone hole with your finger all on its own. So the flute that you probably have doesn't have these holes because the pad itself can create the perfect seal on those flutes. But this flute, as you can see, it has these open holes. It wants me to cover them in their entirety. It just creates a better sound. These kinds of flutes allow you to cover the tone hole in your entirety, and you can make a little bit more unique sounds if you push and pull and leave just enough space. But again, if you're just starting out, our goal is to cover these up in their entirety, just like this. That's right, that's all we need to do. Now, again, playing the flute, it's about making air going across the mouthpiece, not into it. You're not blowing air into the hole going this way, you're blowing across. That's right. So make sure you're practicing that. If you're not getting the correct sound, your mouthpiece has probably been too far out or too far in. Needs to be a kind of a balance here. I recommend you spend time with it until you get it right. So, then the saxophone. Now, some of you are wondering, why do I need this attachment here? Well, this, you wouldn't believe this. No, some of you are probably really strong and you could hold this instrument all day. I'm sure you could. The thing is, you're gonna get really tired when you're holding it like this. You're gonna get really tired and your fingers need to be free and loose to do what they need to do. So a neck strap is critically important for safe and happy, comfortable playing. Again, you wanna bring the instrument to your head, not your head to your instrument. So if you're sitting with your saxophone like this and you find yourself doing something like this, that's not what you want. You wanna bring it up to you like this. Your back needs to be straight, your feet are flat on the floor, and you look great. Now again, I'll remind you of something just in case you forgot. Sometimes I forget to tell you things. So I'm gonna remove my ligature. Before you start playing any woodwind instrument, you have to get the reed wet. There are ways you can do this. You can have water, just dip it in. You can do that, a lot of people do. Or, yummy. Reed flavored. Now I'm being silly, obviously, but at the same time, it's quite an effective strategy. Again, you want to make sure you don't crack the tip here. Once you crack the tip of the reed, it's over. You have to buy a new one now. Line up your reed just right. It should almost look like your thumbnail, okay? Almost look at your own thumbnail and go, oh yeah, that's where my thumbnail leads right up to. So being very careful with your ligature. This takes practice. If you've never done it before, it takes a few tries to get it perfect. And viola, we're set. All right, again, bring it to you. Make sure your bottom lip is going up against the bottom part of the reed itself. Top part of your mouth goes over. The idea is to make this vibrate like this. Then when you get accustomed with the fingers, those change the pitch. Now, one last thing before we go on to start playing. Again, this is a Woodwinds lesson. If you forgot, what? How did you do that? Come on, you guys. Notice something interesting about the clarinet. Nice, you figured it out. These also have open finger holes. Some of these don't. Some of these just close the hole by themselves. But when you play the clarinet, your finger has to cover the tone hole entirely. You can't have it off to the side like this. You can't cover it with this part of your finger. Just the pads of your fingers Donk, 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 donk. It's incredibly important. So if you start getting a weird sound, look at my fingers. If you get a weird sound, cover that tone hole. If you're hearing a weird sound, check your fingers. Make sure the tone hole is completely covered. Outstanding. So without any further ado, let's get started. Welcome back. Yes, we are starting with flutes today. Now, if you're watching this video, we're going to do flute, then saxophone, followed by clarinet. So if you're not playing the flute, you can just skip this portion and you can go to your instrument. But if you're a flautist, you need to stick around. So if this looks familiar, I hope so. This is the material we've been using, and we're going to continue using it today. We'll do a little review first. I'll actually play with you, and then guess what? We'll move forward and try some new stuff. So tell me, raise your hand, if I'm at the right spot. We talked about this. We sure did. See, I talked about this. Don't bend your body this way. No, sit up straight. Keep it upright. You're going to hurt yourself if you don't. This might look familiar, doesn't it? So, go ahead and get your flute out. You won't have this music at home. It's not available. But if you're watching right now, it's right in front of you. So, looking at your fingerings, starting on number 1, it wants thumb. It wants 1. Then it wants, on your right hand, 1 and 4. So, let's get a test note, playing a B flat on the piano. Nice. So we'll test our note, make sure we're correct. Nope. Outstanding. Okay, putting on the metronome. Remember, a whole note gets 4 beats, and a whole rest gets 4 beats, but you don't play during the rests. So here we go. Number 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready? Good. If you didn't sound like me, rewind, do it again till it sounds right. Now, number 2. That's right. It looks like it wants thumb. 1, 2. And then on our right hand, it wants 4. Let's make sure we're correct. I'll go play it on the piano. Let me make sure I'm correct. Outstanding. 1, 2. 1, 2. Ready? And stop. All right, again, you do want to take in as much air as possible. If you're just starting out, sometimes kids just do this. It's important you take a big breath. 2, ready, breathe. And fill your instrument with sound. Then we're gonna go to number 4, G with. Here we go. Let's check this up. Make sure it's the right note. That's a G. Check my fingering. Thumb. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the right hand. Try it out. Not bad. 2, all together. 2, ready, go. Cool. Now, we're actually going to go back. Instead of moving forward, we're going to go to number 3 now. This is a little bit more tricky because now we have to change notes. If you can't see very well, on number 3, it wants us to play a B flat for 4 beats, then stop. Then it wants us to play an A natural for 4 beats and then stop. So let me just check both of these pitches. B flat wants thumb, 1 on the left hand, then on the right hand it wants 1 and 4. Check that pitch. Not bad. Then it wants A, so that's thumb 1, 2 on my left hand. And then on my right hand it wants 4. Let's try that note. So this will be fun. So these are half steps apart, so it'll sound something like this. I'll do my best. Oops. So it's tricky. You remove your right finger from the 1, but then you put down your second finger on your left hand. Kind of looks like this. Try to turn it so you can see it. This is what we want for B flat. Then you put this finger down. Remove that one. It's tricky. It's tricky, but we're gonna do it. Here we go. Prepare to play, kids. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Big breath. Switch fingers. Yeah, good job. But now we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to number 5 now. Now this is tricky, but we have 3 notes. It wants us to go from B flat to A to G. So let's check our notes. Here's a happy B flat. Here we go. All right. Then an A. Then a G. Whew. This is tricky. Challenging. But we're not giving up, are we, kids? Well, Mr. Hurwitz, we're not gonna quit. We're gonna keep playing. Well, good. I figured you wouldn't have given up by now. All right, from the top, number 5. Let's do this together. Hang in tight, kids. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. 2, change fingers. Then it's G. Nice. Back up. Nice. Again, if you were not able to do that, go back. Try again. All right, this is all for the flutes. We're now going to move on to alto saxophone. So stick around. All right, saxophones, it's your turn. So we have the book out in front of us. Now, if you watch the flute part of this section, great. If you're playing the saxophone, you watch the flute section, I mean, fine. That was cool. Thanks. But guess what? You're going to play the same stuff that they did. You have different notes. Well, they don't sound different, but it's written differently. I believe we went over all of this last time. If we didn't, well, I'm sure we did. I'll have to go back and check. So we are going to do number 1, number 2, number 4, then we'll go back and do 3 and 5. But first things first, let's grab our saxophone, pick it up. Again, if you're playing a saxophone without a neck strap, why? Why are you doing that? Are you trying to be tough? Are you trying to be tough? I mean, it's fine, but you don't need to. Unnecessary. So, first things first, get my reed wet. Alright, reed's wet. So, we're going to start with number 1, and it wants me to put my first finger on the first button. Beep. So, I'll play this note, make sure it's correct. Now again, it says B natural, but this is an E flat instrument. So a B natural is not going to come out of the horn. Okay? Let's hear what note comes out. Now if I go over to the piano. Yes. So it says B natural, but it's actually a sounding D natural. That's okay, you sax players. Don't even worry about it right this second. We've got a beat, we've got a thumb on one, so here we go. All together now. Your instrument should be out. If it's not, you're fired. Just kidding. Stay. Don't leave. Number 1. Busy beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Try to get it to speak immediately. Use your tongue to click and lift. All right. So now number 2, the A train. And it wants us to put down 1 and 2 with our left hand. See what that sounds like. Ugh, not quite. Try that again. Gotta be careful, kids, because we're trying to get the lower octave. We don't want the higher one. So for lower notes, you want to put your mouth further into the mouthpiece. When you pull back, you get higher sound. We get higher sounds. So if you want lower sounds, you need to go further in. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Don't miss it, kids. All right, now we're gonna go to number 4. That's 1, 2, and 3 with your left hand. It sounds like this. You'll need to take a more mouthpiece. There it is. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Now we're gonna go back to number 3. We're gonna switch. It goes from just 1 to 1 and 2. It goes from B to A, over and over again. Easy, right? We'll see. 1, 2, number 3, 2, ready. Nice. Again, if you didn't quite nail it, go back. Get it right. Don't be like that guy or that lady that just says, okay, it's good enough. No, it's never good enough. It's never good enough. All right, go to number 5. Sax, 5th Avenue. Let's do it. From the top. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3. Back up to 1 and 2. All right. So that's all for saxophone today. Again, if you watch the flute and the saxophone video and you're a clarinet player, you must be pretty bored. You must not be doing much. You need to fix that. All right. So clarinet, you're up next. So stick around. All right, clarinets, you're up. So your instrument should probably be out. Your mouthpiece should be set. Reed all wet. Good to go. All right, B-flat clarinet. If you watched the first 2 videos in this series, great. I appreciate you. If you're just tuning in now, so we're not going to go very far. Again, this is mostly building exercises. These are basics, okay? We're going to get, if you are wanting to play when everybody else is playing all at the same time, you need to check out the virtual band videos because that's when we all play the same thing at the same time. But these videos are specific to these instruments only, all right? So make sure the stuff that we're practicing in this is not the same stuff for the virtual band. Just remember that. And if you forget, that's okay. All right. It's interesting in the book series. So for example, if you watch the flute video in this video, and if you saw the saxophone video, the titles of the songs are different because they're trying to teach different concepts for you. So for example, E is for excellence. In the first video with the alto saxophone, it was a different title. It was Busy Bee. So we learned different notes, but guess what? The sounding pitches. The sounding pitches are what we're trying to get towards. Unfortunately, when you have instruments that transpose, you can't just give everybody the same written music and have everybody play the same notes. That's just not how it works. Oh well, what are you gonna do about it, right? So, I'll grab my clarinet. Gotta make sure my reed is wet because I'm pretty sure I requested that of you guys. So here we go. Reed flavored. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Again, if you're just starting, you better get used to the idea of wetting the reed with your face because you're going to be doing it a lot. You're going to be doing it for a long time, so you may as well get used to it now. All right. You don't need a neck strap for a clarinet. The clarinet is just small enough and it's light enough. You don't need a neck strap for your clarinet. If you have one, I don't know where you're going to put it. So, there you go. All right, so thumb and 1 for our first note. And let's hear what it sounds like. Ew, don't do that. That's why you got to make sure your reed is completely, perfectly aligned, or else you get that result. There it is. So again, when you want lower notes, you need to take in more mouthpiece. When you want higher notes, you need to take in less. Again, bottom lip underneath. No. In fact, I'll stand in front of the camera. So again, this is an Artie Shaw thing where you put it up like this. We're not doing that. We want it kind of down, our chin up like this, and it sits on our bottom lip. High. Right? Again, not belting your head like this. Don't tilt your head like this, obviously. Again, comes right up to your bottom lip like this. All right, so let's play. Number 1, thumb and 1 on our left hand. It sounds like this. So if I go over to the piano, try to figure out what note that is. It's also a playing D, a sounding D. Okay, 1, 2, thumb and 1, 2, ready. Careful about that. Sweet. Now, if you don't know what D-Day is, I'm not going to explain it to you. Just ask somebody else. But this is thumb 1 and 2. Let's hear what it sounds like. I imagine that's a sounding C natural. 2, D-Day. 2, ready. Woo! Pretty fun. Seesaw. Number 4. It's a different note. It's thumb 1, 2, and 3. I bet this is a B flat. I bet it is. Let's hear it. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? What else could it have been? So, 1, 2, number 4. 2, ready. Make sure you speak. Keep everything wet. Good. Sweet. Go to number 3, double decker. If you watch the flute video, there are a lot more fingers to move when you're playing the flute than when you're playing the clarinet, at least right now. We don't have to move a whole lot. So this is number 3. Thumb on 1 to thumb on 2. Let's hear the notes. That's right. 1, 2. Number 3. 2. Ready. Again, if it's not correct, go back. Make sure it's right. Then it's number 5. All together now. Make sure you can see, all right? 1, 2, number 5. 2, ready, go. 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 3. Then it's back up. Awesome. So we got through that whole page. So next time I see you guys, we're gonna tear through this other set of songs over here, and then we're gonna move forward in the book, and hopefully by the end of the series, by the end of the summer, we have you playing some scales. And when we get back to school, when we get back to work, we'll bring everybody together. But didn't I tell you I'd show you one more instrument? Well, if you want to see this tenor saxophone, then I suggest you hang on for just a few more minutes. So, I told you, we're gonna check this out. Look how big this is. So, I hope you can see, okay? Doing better and better to get better camera angles so you can see everything. So, we have these other woodwind instruments over here. So let's open this up and see what's inside. Here we go. Woo. Wow. Wow. Look how big that is. Pretty amazing if you ask me. We'll take it out of the case. Whoa. Look at this. Now, it's not the biggest instrument there is. Trust me, there's way bigger instruments than this. But doesn't it remarkably look similar to the saxophone? Well, it's because it is. You silly kids. This is a tenor saxophone, and I'm gonna pull out this cleaning rod. Woof! It's like a big tail of a raccoon. Okay. Then I take my neck. See that? Put it on. Try to wedge it down. Cinch it with my little twisty screw here. Then of course our mouthpiece. Now, if you have a cover, this is good. This is a good way to protect your mouthpiece. Now, sometimes people leave their reeds inside their mouthpieces. I choose not to because reeds can get damaged that way. If you feel like taking that risk, I'm not going to stop you. I don't recommend it though, but that's okay. Everybody has to find out things for themselves. Neck strap, clip it right here. Clip. Beautiful. Well, this is a lovely neck strap too. Look at that. This is like one of those custom, well not custom, but one of those very deluxe neck straps. This looks very, ooh, that's very comfortable. You want your neck straps to be comfortable. When you hold the saxophone for hours and the back of your neck starts to burn, trust me, you want a comfortable neck strap. So you want to procure that as soon as you can. And then of course, your reed changes. You have to use the right side reed for the instrument, right sized reed for the instrument. So I'm gonna get this wet. Oh. Okay, get the mouthpiece on. Again, we want to bring the instrument to our face and not the other way around. We don't want to bring our faces to the instrument. Line this up, get your ligature on there, secure it nicely. Make sure that's good. Now, I'm not a very tall person, but let's just see, when I pick this up, when I hold it, let's just see how it looks on me. Here we go. Let's bring this camera back up. Let's take a look. Whoa, pretty big. Again, if you're a 3rd or a 4th grader, you might not be able to pick this up yet. If you're a big, brave 5th or 6th grader, who knows? Well, let's compare. Let's compare sizes. So here's our tenor sax, and here's our alto sax. The tenor sax is much bigger, tenor means lower, okay? So let me just try to get a few notes out of this thing. Whoa, much bigger. So if you're interested in tenor sax, I will start including this in the woodwind lessons. You'll be expecting another woodwind lesson in a few weeks or so. My goal is to produce content every week. It'll be different. Trying to rotate between virtual choir and virtual band as often as possible with some other things in there. Stick around all summer. I'll be making stuff as often as I can. All right, you guys. Happy playing. Thanks for being here. Check out my other videos. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. And we'll see you next time. Bye, kids.